My name is Vicky and I'm an ex-teacher and now full-time mum. My question is this: why do you persist with the scaremongering by insisting that with the introduction of a price on carbon, the coal industry faces certain demise, when the facts are, according to the Financial Review only yesterday, that the coal industry in Queensland, the biggest producer of coal in Australia by far, will increase production by a massive 45% over the next decade? Mr Abbott, you know that the success of the coal industry is tied to the development of Asian communities and their dependence on Australian coking coal for steel manufacturing to build their economies. I feel that you will oppose anything that the government puts forward, regardless of its merit, just for your political expediency. The advocating of the collapse of the biggest coal-producing industry in the world, right here in Queensland, is both alarmist and irresponsible. Will you be more circumspect in your claims about the pricing of carbon in the future?
Well, Vicky, what do you think about Bob Brown? Is he being alarmist and irresponsible?
Well, what I say to that is that the coal industry will continue because we need coal for production of steel. But my question is in regard to your espousing that the coal industry is under threat.
Yeah, but what about Bob Brown? He says we want to phase out coal, we must phase out coal.
Well, this is being brought in by the Labor government.
Yeah, but Bob Brown is the one who is
Bob Brown is not
the co-author
Prime
of this, but he is the co-author of this tax.
That hasn't gone through.
Well, okay. Is it?
Can you answer my question in regard to what you're saying?
I'm trying to clarify this, Vicky. I am trying to clarify this. I mean, you're saying it's wrong for Australia to burn coal, but it's right for China to burn coal. Is that right?
I am asking you why you are going around to the coal industries and saying that their jobs are under threat, that the coal industry is under threat because of the increase.
Yeah. Okay, well, why I'm saying that is because the whole point of a carbon tax is to reduce our emissions by making producing power in emitting ways more expensive. That's the whole point of it, Vicky. If it doesn't make coal more expensive, it doesn't work.
Good evening, Mr Abbott. My name's Ian. Over the past few years, the electorate has been bombarded by leaders of all the political parties, by media commentators and by a very diverse range of experts, all expressing opinions on climate policy. I think they've all contributed to a climate of fear, not climate change. Fear of the impact on households, fear of the impact on jobs, fear of the impact on our economy. The Prime Minister says her policy is good for the nation now and into the future. So my question is, will your direct action policy address these fears of households, jobs and the economy? And will your policy be good for the nation's economy now and into the future?
Well, Ian, thank you for that. I think what my policy will do is bring about the same effect in terms of emissions reduction as the government is aiming at, without the impact on price to consumers, without the impact on Australia's industries, particularly our export competitive industries. We can do all that and without a big hit on the budget as well. I think our direct action policy has been very carefully designed to address all of those points. I think it's prudent, it's affordable, it's responsible, and I am very confident that it can be effective because it builds on what is already happening.
You've mentioned previously that the carbon tax will cause a lot of job losses, but inevitably the non-renewable energy sector will suffer 100% job losses when all the resources run out. So the future is renewable, either wind or solar. So my question is this: what is your vision and what commitment can you make to ensure that the renewable energy sector in Australia can meet our employment and our energy needs?
Okay. Well, in the very long term, you're most likely right. In the very, very long term, we will run out of coal and oil and gas. But I suspect that is well beyond the life of anyone in this room, and I suspect well beyond the life of any of the grandchildren of anyone in this room, because as these things are used and they become more scarce, the price goes up, and as the price goes up, more are discovered, and we also develop alternatives to them, including, as you rightly suggest, renewables. Now, I am all in favour of renewables, and the government of which I was a part, you might remember, introduced the mandatory renewable energy targets, which the current government has persisted with and somewhat increased. So I am in favour of the use of renewables. But for now and for the foreseeable future, renewables aren't going to give us baseload power.